The envelope was written in careful handwriting. To Sarah, I will always love you. Use this in an emergency. Tell no one. Dad, 1982". Emma Carson read the letter for the third time. The bonds, worth $2 million, sat on the desk before her. Who was Sarah? Who was her father? Why the secrecy? And most importantly, 42 years later, did this money still belong to them? Emma opened her computer. She searched Sarah plus Millbrook plus 1982. When the first result appeared, her heart stopped. Missing girl Sarah Mitchell, still sought since 1985. This wasn't just a story about lost money. This was an unsolved mystery. And Emma Carson, a 42-year-old librarian, had just decided to solve a 40-year-old secret. Welcome to Echo Tales, where ordinary people make extraordinary choices. Before we dive into today's story, if you enjoy tales of honesty, moral dilemmas, and unsolved mysteries, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share real-life inspired stories every single day. And here's a question for you. If you found $2 million, what would you do? Would you keep it or try to find the real owner? Drop a comment below and let us know where you're watching from today. We love hearing from viewers around the world. Whether you're watching from Vermont, Texas, or anywhere in the world, you've probably asked yourself, what if I did the easy thing instead of the right thing? Today's story is about Emma Carson, a 42-year-old small-town librarian. When she found $2 million in a donated book, everyone told her to keep it. But Emma noticed something. The money belonged to a missing girl. And it was the key to a 40-year-old mystery. The choice she made would turn the small town upside down and change her life forever. Millbrook, Vermont was the kind of town you could barely find on a map. Population 3,200, Main Street half a mile long, everyone knew everyone. In winter, snow could reach 4 feet, and the town became nearly isolated. Emma Carson was born here, raised here, and never left. At 42, she'd worked at the library for over 20 years. Started as an assistant on day one, became head librarian 10 years ago. Millbrook Public Library was small, 2 rooms, 12,000 books, 2 computers. But for the town, it was the heart. Kids did homework here. Seniors held book club meetings here. The unemployed used the internet for job applications. Emma loved the library. The smell of books, the quiet, the simple satisfaction of helping people. Her salary was modest, $38,000 a year, but it was enough. Her husband Tom worked construction. Their 16-year-old daughter Lily was in high school. Their life was simple but hard. Tom's company had cut hours last year. They had mortgage payments. Lily's college fund was insufficient. Emma's mother was in a nursing home, expenses rising. But they weren't unhappy, just struggling. Like the American middle class. Like the rest of the town in recent years, Millbrook was dying. Slowly but surely. The lumber mill had closed in 2019, 200 jobs lost. Young people were moving to cities, looking for work. For businesses on Main Street stood empty, unable to find renters. The library was affected too. The town budget shrank every year. Emma's salary had been frozen for 3 years. The book budget was nearly zero. The building needed repairs, roof leaking, furnace old, electrical system unsafe. Last month at the town council meeting, Council President Margaret Dixon had delivered bad news. Budget cuts are coming. The library is at greatest risk. Emma had protested, but the numbers were clear. The town had no money. So Emma had started a volunteer donation campaign. Asked townspeople to donate old books, furniture, items. She'd sell everything, use the money to save the library. The response was lukewarm. A few boxes of old books, 2 old chairs, some kitchen items. Not enough. Until Tuesday morning when Robert Mitchell's grandson appeared at the door. Tyler Mitchell was 25, lived in Boston, had come back to clean out his grandfather Robert's house. Robert had died last month at 89, alone, quietly, in his sleep. My grandfather loved books, Tyler explained to Emma, setting 2 large boxes on the library counter. Thought you might want these. Old but in good condition. Emma thanked him, saw Tyler off, and began examining the boxes. Mostly classic novels, Hemingway, Steinbeck, Fitzgerald. Not first editions but nicely bound. Good for selling. At the bottom of the third box were older books. From the 1940s and 50s. Several looked interesting, the kind collectors might be interested in. At the very bottom, alone, was a leather-bound novel, Rebecca, by Daphne du Maurier. 1938 edition. Cover worn, pages yellowed, but complete. Emma flipped through the pages. Sometimes people wrote notes in books, could be valuable. On page 120, an envelope fell out. The envelope was thick yellow paper, browned over the years. Written on it in pen, ink faded but readable. To Sarah, I will always love you. Use this in an emergency. Tell no one. Dad, 1982 inch. Emma's heart raced. She opened the envelope carefully. Inside were 10 papers, each printed and hand-signed. Emma examined the first one. United States Treasury bearer bond. $50,000. Issue date, March 15, 1982. Maturity, 30 years. Bearer bond. Emma knew about these, she'd taken economics in college. Bearer bonds are physical paper proving ownership. Whoever holds the paper owns the money. Issued in 1982. 30-year maturity. Matured in 2012. And now in 2024, each worth $50,000, probably much more with interest. Emma counted with trembling hands. 10 bonds. $500,000. No, wait. There were more in the envelope. Second group. Third. Fourth. 40 bonds total. $2 million. Emma leaned back, couldn't breathe. She looked around. She was alone in the library. Tuesday mornings were usually quiet. Nobody had seen. She held $2 million. And nobody knew. Emma's first instinct was to call her husband. But she stopped. This was too big to discuss on the phone. She put the bonds back in the envelope, locked the envelope in her drawer. Spent the rest of the day distracted, returning books but her brain elsewhere. $2 million. They could pay off the mortgage. Lily's college. Her mother's nursing home expenses. Maybe a new car. Maybe a vacation. But these weren't theirs. Were they? They came from the donation box. Robert Mitchell donated them. Legally, donated items become library property. But the bonds had a name on them, Sarah. Was she Robert's daughter? Granddaughter? And why had he hidden them? At 5 p.m., Emma closed the library, put the bonds in her bag, and went home. At the kitchen table, with Lily in her room, Emma showed Tom the envelope. Tom's face went into shock. He examined the bonds one by one, then looked at Emma. Is this real? I think so. $2 million. Yes. Silence. Tom collapsed into his chair. Emma, this changes our lives. Changes everything. Not ours, Tom. They were donated but they're written to Sarah. We need to find the owner. Tom stared in disbelief. What? Emma, this came from the donation box. Legally it's ours, the library's. But not morally. Someone saved these, kept them for someone. We need to find that person. Tom stood up, frustrated. Emma, be pragmatic. Robert Mitchell is dead. These bonds were hidden 42 years ago. Sarah, whoever she is probably dead too. Or never knew about them. We don't know that. And if we try to find out? Tom raised his hands. Go to police, maybe they confiscate the bonds. Legal dispute. Years in court. And in the end maybe we get nothing. Emma listened quietly. Tom continued, his voice softening. Baby, listen. Lily starts college in 2 years. We have no fund. Your mom's nursing home costs are rising. We have a mortgage. This money, it's a miracle. Not our miracle. Who will know? Tom shouted. Then repeated quietly. Who will know, Emma? Tyler donated it, he's gone. Robert's dead. Sarah, whoever she is, hasn't known about this money for 40 years. Nobody gets hurt. Emma looked at her husband. They'd been married 20 years. He was a good man. Hardworking. Loved his family. But right now Emma felt like she didn't know him. I'll know, Emma said quietly. I'll know, Tom. And I have to look at myself in the mirror every day. Tom took a deep breath. Think about it, Emma. Just think. Don't rush. But Emma already knew. The decision was made. That night Emma couldn't sleep. Beside her, Tom snored, oblivious. Emma slipped out of the bedroom, went downstairs, and opened her laptop. She searched Sarah Mitchell Millbrook, Vermont. The first results were from local news archives. A headline from 1985. Local girl Sarah Mitchell missing, police continue search. Emma read the article, heart racing. Sarah Mitchell, 8 years old, disappeared Tuesday, October 15, 1985 while walking home from school. She never arrived at her father's house. Police are conducting an intensive search but leads are few. Her father Robert Mitchell, local carpenter, pleads for his daughter's return. Emma found more articles. Searches continued but Sarah was never found. A year later, the headlines stopped. The case went cold. 40 years later, it was still unsolved. Emma leaned back, thinking. Robert Mitchell, Tyler's grandfather, the man who donated the books, was missing Sarah's father. In 1982 he'd bought the bonds. For Sarah. For emergencies. But in 1985 Sarah disappeared. At 8 years old. And Robert never used the bonds. Kept them hidden for 39 years, secret in a book. Why? Maybe he hoped Sarah would return. Maybe he felt guilty, the emergency never came because his daughter was gone. Or maybe there was something else. Emma decided to dig deeper. The next morning Emma made an unusual decision. She wouldn't keep this secret. The town council meeting was Wednesday evening, at the small municipal building. Emma attended, keeping the bonds secure in a folder. At the end of the meeting, she raised her hand. I need to speak, she said. Council President Margaret Dixon looked surprised. Emma? Of course. Emma stood, clutching the folder. Last week Robert Mitchell's grandson donated books to the library. Inside. I found something. Silence. Everyone was listening. I found $2 million in bearer bonds in the donated books. The meeting room exploded. Questions, shock, excitement. Margaret raised her hand. Emma, continue. Emma showed the bonds, from a safe distance. They're written to Sarah Mitchell. From 1982. I researched. Sarah was Robert's daughter, disappeared in 1985 at age 8, never found. Town attorney James Hendricks interrupted. Emma, legally those bonds are a donation. Library property. I know, Emma spoke calmly. But morally they belong to Sarah Mitchell. And I want to learn the real story. Who she was. What happened. And if she's still alive, she deserves this money. Tom sat in the back row, head in his hands. Margaret leaned forward. Emma, this money could save the library. New books, repairs, programs. If it's ours, yes, Emma interrupted. But it's not. And I can't save the library with money that doesn't belong to us. It wouldn't feel right. The room was divided. Some supported Emma, honesty is right. Others objected, be pragmatic, the town needs help. The meeting ended in debate, no decision. But Emma didn't care. She'd told the town. There was no going back now. The next few days were a nightmare for Emma. The town was split in two. One group supported her, mostly older residents, church members. She's doing the right thing, they said. Honesty counts. But the larger group was angry. Business owners, young families, those in tough financial situations. It's foolish, they said. She's sacrificing the town for personal morals. Messages came to Emma's phone. You're selfish. What has this town done for you? My daughter is unemployed. This money could have helped. Because of you and your principles, the library will close. Tom went silent. They weren't speaking at home. Lily didn't understand. Mom, why aren't we keeping the money? Worst of all, Tyler Mitchell came back. Friday evening Tyler came to the library. It was closing time. Emma was locking up the last cases. Emma, Tyler looked uncertain. We need to talk. Sure, Tyler. Sit down. Tyler didn't sit. I can't let you keep those bonds. They belong to my grandfather. I donated them. I want them back. Emma paused. Tyler, they weren't for your grandfather. They were for Sarah. Sarah's dead. 40 years ago. We don't know that. Everyone knows. Tyler shouted. Missing kids don't come back, Emma. Especially not after 40 years. My grandfather was suspected of murder, did you know that? Police watched him for years. He lived under pressure. And now you want to dig up his family secrets. Emma spoke softly. I just want to learn the truth, Tyler. Why? Who cares? Grandfather's dead. Sarah's dead, or never showed up. This money is real now. It could be used for the town. Or I can take it out and get it back with a lawyer. Emma looked Tyler directly in the eyes. Try, Tyler. But I'll fight. Because this is right. Tyler stared in fury, then stormed out. Emma was left alone in the quiet library. For the first time, she felt doubt creeping in. Maybe Tom was right. Maybe this would go on forever. But then she saw Sarah's photo. She'd printed it from an old newspaper article. 8 years old, smiling, with a missing front tooth. No. Emma was doing the right thing. Emma had no money to hire a private detective. But there was someone who could help. Linda Reeves, 55, was a retired police detective living in Millbrook. She'd worked 25 years with Vermont State Police, moved here a few years ago. Emma knew Linda from the library. Linda borrowed mystery novels every week. Linda, Emma called her for coffee. I need your help. Emma told the story. The bonds. Sarah Mitchell. The 40-year mystery. Linda listened, then thought deeply. The Sarah Mitchell case. I remember. I was very young, but everyone in the region knew. Never solved. Can you access Robert's file? Even unofficially? Linda hesitated. Emma, this is dangerous. If Robert was involved. Even if he was, I want to know the truth. Linda nodded. I'll research my old contacts. But Emma, be ready. You might not like the answers. Linda returned 3 days later with a thick file. At Emma's house, at the kitchen table, Linda opened the file. Robert Mitchell was intensely investigated in 1985. Police saw him as the prime suspect. Emma's stomach turned. Linda continued. But evidence was insufficient. Robert had an alibi, he was at work that day. Witnesses confirmed. No physical evidence linked him. The case went cold. What about the bonds? Emma asked. Here's the interesting part. Linda pulled out a report. Robert bought the bonds in 1982, correct. But in 1984, 1 year before Sarah disappeared, something happened. Robert's wife died. Cancer. Within 6 months. Robert and Sarah were left alone. Linda paused. Neighbors were concerned. Robert was drinking, depressed. Sarah was sometimes left home alone, having problems at school. Social services were investigating, but before they could intervene, Sarah disappeared. Emma's eyes filled with tears. So Robert was a bad father. Maybe. Or a lonely man trying to cope with trauma. Linda showed another document. But here's the real mystery. After Sarah disappeared, Robert completely changed. Stopped drinking. Went to therapy. Lived quietly. But every year, on the anniversary of her disappearance, he placed a full-page ad in the local paper. Sarah, I love you. Please come home. Emma was crying now. For 39 years. 39 years. The last ad was October 2024, 2 weeks before he died. Emma thought about the bonds. For emergencies. Robert had kept them in case she came back. Linda, Emma whispered. What happened to Sarah? We don't know. No body was ever found. No witnesses. She vanished. Emma had almost given up. Maybe Tom was right. Maybe some mysteries shouldn't be solved. But then Linda came back with new information. Emma, I remembered something. In the Sarah Mitchell case, the early days, there was a witness. An elderly woman, Mrs. Eleanor Price. She said she saw Sarah the day she disappeared. What did she see? Sarah talking to a blonde woman. Someone she didn't recognize. But Mrs. Price didn't have good recall, police didn't take her seriously. Cognitive issues were starting. Emma leaned forward. Is she still alive? I don't know. But I can check. 3 days later Linda returned with an answer. Eleanor Price, 93, lives in a nursing home in Burlington. Still sharp-minded. And she wants to see you. Burlington was 50 miles away. Emma and Linda went on Saturday to Sunny Acres Nursing Home. Eleanor was a small woman, gray hair, sharp blue eyes. Sat in a wheelchair, but her mind was sharp. Do you remember Sarah Mitchell? Emma asked gently. Eleanor nodded. I remember her every day. That beautiful little girl. I saw her the day she disappeared. Can you tell us? Eleanor closed her eyes, remembering. She got off the school bus. Around 3:15. I was sitting by the window. I still lived in my old house, on Main Street. Sarah was walking on the sidewalk. Then, a car stopped. Blue sedan. A woman got out. Blonde, in her 30s. Sarah went to her. Like she knew her. Emma's heart raced. What happened? They talked. Sarah was smiling. Then the woman pointed to the car. Sarah hesitated. But then got in. Voluntarily? It seemed so. Didn't look forced. But a child sometimes trusts strangers, doesn't she? Linda was taking notes. Can you describe the car? License plate? Blue sedan, old. Maybe from the 70s. Couldn't see the plate. But I saw something, a sticker on the back of the car. Red and white. Maybe university? Emma and Linda exchanged glances. Mrs. Price, Emma asked. Why didn't you tell police? Eleanor smiled sadly. I did. But my memory was already weak then. Early Alzheimer's. Police weren't kind. They didn't take me seriously. Old lady is confused, they said. Emma held Eleanor's hand. We believe you. In the car driving back, Linda was thoughtful. Blonde woman. Blue sedan. University sticker. How many universities in Vermont? Emma asked. Several. But in 1985 the biggest was University of Vermont, in Burlington. Red and white school colors. Emma pulled out her phone. In 1985 Sarah was 8. If a blonde woman kidnapped her, why? Linda voiced a dark possibility. Kidnapping. Adoption. Or, worse. Emma's stomach turned. But something seemed illogical to her. Linda, if it were kidnapping, wouldn't Robert have received a ransom demand? Or a trace? But there was nothing. True. That usually means unplanned. Crime of opportunity. Emma had another thought. Or maybe it was someone Sarah knew. Someone Sarah trusted. Family friend? Let's check. Who Robert was close to in 1985. The following week Emma did obsessive research. Old newspaper archives, court records, local directories. Robert Mitchell, carpenter, in 1985 was doing small jobs, home repairs, furniture. Finding his client list was hard, but Emma found old records from the local business bureau. One name stood out, Dr. Pamela Wright. Psychiatrist. Ran a private practice in Millbrook from 1983 to 1987. Then moved to Burlington. Emma dug deeper. Found old ads for Dr. Wright. There was a photo. Blonde. In her 30s. In 1985. Emma's hands trembled. She called Linda. I found her. Dr. Pamela Wright. Psychiatrist. She was Robert's client, he built her office cabinets. And she knew Sarah. How do you know? Because I found a photo in the local paper archive. 1984 Christmas charity drive. Dr. Wright was there. And Sarah, with Robert. All together. Linda was quiet. Emma, we need to find Dr. Wright. Dr. Pamela Wright, 71, lived in Burlington. Still active, doing part-time consulting. Emma tried to reach her, phone, email. No response. Linda suggested a different approach. Let's go directly. To her office. Talk face to face. Friday afternoon Emma and Linda went to Dr. Wright's office. Modern building, professional reception. Dr. Wright doesn't accept walk-ins, the receptionist said coldly. It's about Sarah Mitchell, Emma insisted. She disappeared 40 years ago. Dr. Wright knew her. The receptionist paused. Wait. 10 minutes later the inner office door opened. Dr. Pamela Wright emerged. Still blonde but now silver-mixed, wrinkles on her face but eyes sharp. Come in, she said quietly. In the office, door closed, Dr. Wright sat across from them. Sarah Mitchell, she said. I haven't heard that name in over 40 years. You knew her, Emma stated, didn't ask. Dr. Wright nodded. Yes. Robert wasn't my patient but I knew Sarah. Sweet little girl. She struggled after her mother died. What happened that day? Linda asked. October 15, 1985. Dr. Wright was silent for a long time. Then took a deep breath. I was driving. Leaving Millbrook, going to Burlington. I saw Sarah walking from school. I stopped, rolled down the window. Said, "Hello, Sarah." She recognized me. Emma's heart raced. We talked, Dr. Wright continued, eyes distant. I asked how she was. She said, "Not good. Dad's drinking. I'm scared." I wanted to help her. You put her in the car, Linda said calmly but definitively. Dr. Wright nodded. I thought I'd take her to social services. Safe place. But Sarah panicked. Don't take me, she said. Dad will be mad. I hesitated. Then what happened? Dr. Wright's eyes filled. I stopped. On the side of the road, thinking what to do. Sarah was sitting in the back seat. I was trying to find a phone booth, 1985, no cell phones. And then. She paused. Then what? Emma whispered. Sarah opened the door and ran. Into the woods. I tried to stop her but she was fast. I called out, started searching but it was getting dark. I couldn't find her. Dr. Wright was crying now. I should have called police. But I was scared. Sarah said she was afraid of her father. If I told police, she'd be sent back to Robert. And I couldn't risk prison. My career. My license. Emma was shocked. You knew for 40 years. And said nothing. I think about it every day. Dr. Wright shouted. Every single day of my life. I don't know what happened to Sarah. Did she die in the woods? Get lost? Did someone find her? I don't know. Linda leaned forward. Dr. Wright, where did this happen? Which road? Dr. Wright pulled out a map, pointed. Here. Route 15, 10 miles north of Millbrook. Forest area. Emma and Linda exchanged looks. A new lead. Emma wanted to call police but Linda stopped her. Emma, 40 years have passed. If Sarah died in those woods, now only bones would remain. But what? Linda took a deep breath. What if Sarah survived? What if someone found her and raised her? Then that someone is now 48 years old, living her life. And maybe doesn't know the truth. Emma's brain was spinning. How can we find her? Linda thought. Missing persons databases. DNA matches. But first we need Robert's DNA. Emma understood. I need to convince Tyler. Emma called Tyler. He refused at first but Emma insisted. Tyler, your grandfather wanted Sarah to come back. He hoped for 39 years. You owe him this, to learn the truth. Tyler finally agreed. Gave a DNA sample, as Robert's grandson, they could establish genetic connection. Linda sent the DNA to the National Missing Persons database. And they began waiting. 2 weeks later Linda called. Emma. There's a match. Emma's heart stopped. What? Sarah Mitchell, or someone matching her DNA profile, is alive. Registered on a DNA genealogy site. 23andMe, researching family tree. Who? Where? Linda paused. Name is Jennifer Colby. 48 years old. Lives in Portland, Oregon. Married, 2 children. Emma was crying. Sarah is alive. Maybe. Jennifer was adopted. In 1985. At 8 years old. But she has no memory, traumatic amnesia. Doesn't remember her real name or past. Emma stood up. We need to go to Portland. Emma bought tickets with her own money. Tom still wasn't speaking, the town still criticizing. But Emma didn't care. Linda came with her. The two flew to Portland, found Jennifer Colby. Jennifer was a beautiful woman, brown hair, dyed, sweet smile. Suspicious at first. Who are you? What do you want? Emma explained gently. Sarah Mitchell. Missing in 1985. DNA match. The bonds. Jennifer slowly sat down. I was adopted. In 1985. In Oregon, found a family. Good family. But I never knew my real past. My memory is blank. Do you remember Millbrook? Emma asked. Jennifer closed her eyes. I don't know. Sometimes I have dreams. Dark forest. Cold. Fear. But I don't know if it's real or imagination. Linda showed the DNA report. Jennifer, we're 99.7% certain genetically that you're Robert Mitchell's daughter. You're Sarah. Jennifer cried. All my life I wanted to know who I was. Where I came from. Emma told her about the bonds. Your father loved you. He waited 39 years for you. And he kept this money for you. Jennifer was shocked. $2 million. For me? For you. Always. Jennifer told her story. She disappeared in fall 1985, survived in the woods for 3 days, no food, little water. A couple camping found her. Instead of taking her to police, Jennifer was traumatized and couldn't remember her name. They adopted her. Not legal. Not ethical. But they wanted a child, and Jennifer seemed lost. Jennifer grew up with them, had a good life. But always felt emptiness. Now she had answers. Emma Carson sat in Millbrook Public Library. But it was no longer in danger of closing. Jennifer Colby had taken the bonds, legally they were her right. But she'd made a decision. Half, $1 million, she donated to the library. To honor the woman who found my truth. The other half she donated to missing children organizations. The library was renovated. New books. New computers. New programs. The town celebrated Emma as a hero. They apologized. Tom apologized. But for Emma, the most precious moment was Jennifer's visit. Jennifer came to Robert's grave. Left flowers. Cried. I'm sorry, Dad. I wish I'd found you. Emma stood beside her. He never gave up on you. Never lost hope. Jennifer hugged Emma. You gave me myself back. Thank you. Outside, the Millbrook sun was shining. Small town, big story. Lost money, lost girl, and one woman's integrity. Emma looked out the library window. Children were reading books. Seniors were playing chess. Life went on. And on the shelf, in a special place, Emma had placed a plaque. In memory of Robert and Sarah Mitchell, love and hope are never lost. Because sometimes doing the right thing isn't easy. But it's always worth it. And sometimes lost things, money, people, truth, can be found with patience and honesty. Emma Carson had proven it. Small-town librarian with a big heart. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and become part of the Echo Tales community where we share powerful stories every day. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from our amazing viewers around the world.